Voted the best museum in Las Vegas, Zak Bagans Haunted Museum holds some of the world's most spine-chilling objects and hostile spirits. His museum takes you on a creepy venture down winding halls and secret passageways, encountering paranormal pieces in over 30 rooms, including the propofol chair from Michael Jackson's death room. Yeah, creepy. So today we've compiled a list of some of the scariest items with our list of the top 5 scary items at Zak Bagans Haunted Museum. Let's jump in.
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
In at 5, Ed Geins Cauldron. For those who don't know, Ed Gein became infamous in Plainfield, Wisconsin after he was found to have exhumed corpses from local graveyards and fashioned trophies out of the skins. His crimes were truly repugnant, and thankfully he was remanded to a psychiatric institution before dying at the age of 77. Now, very creepily displayed at Zak Bagans Museum is Ed Geins Cauldron, which was initially used by his family to render hog fat on their farm, but later had a far more sinister job at the hands of Gein. When found, the cauldron was covered in dried blood and guts, so it doesn't take much to figure out what he had been using it for. After its discovery, people reported dark energy around the cauldron, even stating that they experienced mysterious illnesses and disruption of nearby electronics. People who have encountered the cauldron have described a feeling of unease, dizziness, and even anxiety. Would you dare gaze upon it? In at 4, John Morel's preserved thumb. Now this one's a doozy. Originally housed at a Tennessee museum, this mummified thumb belonged to John Morel, a horse thief and bandit who would frequently dress up as a minister while giving fake sermons. And while giving fake sermons, his band of outlaws would steal horses from locals within town. He was once even written about by author Mark Twain in his book Life on the Mississippi. John died from tuberculosis on an unknown date, and his body was mummified and put on display, parts even being sent to different places around the country. Now what's so spooky about the thumb then? Well, supposedly it possessed the power to cause illness and distress in those that see it, confirming that a little piece of John still resides in the thumb, hell-bent on inflicting pain and torture on those that come across it. In at 3, Dybbuk Box. For those of you who don't know, the Dybbuk Box gained infamy in 2004 after an article was published in the Los Angeles Times, and from there it went on to spawn the horror movie The Possession. It is thought to be a spirit of a person who, instead of drifting over into the next life, stayed put and has the power to enter the bodies of living people. It is known as one of the world's most haunted items, and Zak paid tens of thousands of dollars in order to display it in his horror museum. Now the Dybbuk Box will not be opened. Zak even stated that he was too terrified to do that. However, if you're over 18 and sign a waiver, you may just be given the opportunity. Godspeed. In at 2, Charles Manson's Ashes. Now this one is just downright creepy. Even Zak Bagans himself thinks so, and that man is not easily creeped out. Firstly, take a look at this. Yep, it's a painting of the notorious cult leader Charles Manson, famous for forming the Manson family and responsible for a series of 9 grisly murders between July and August of 1969. He was later arrested in 1971 and died in prison at the age of 83 in 2017. Now, this painting is no ordinary painting because of course, Zak Bagans has no time for some non-possessed fancy art. This painting is in fact made up of Manson's own ashes, specifically in the eyes of the painting, which somehow makes this even more creepier. It was painted by Ryan Almighty, an artist who is famous for using human blood and human remains to create his artwork. You can find this piece displayed alongside Manson's false teeth, his own personal art he created in prison, and even his TV. Now some people have questioned the legitimacy of the painting, but Bagans has been quoted in saying, "I know exactly who was there, who got some of the ashes, the various people who grabbed the ashes to throw them in the air. I have all the footage. I'm really strict about how I display things, and I know they are all legitimate." This is legitimate. Well, there we have it, folks. And lastly, and at number 1, Peggy the Doll. Zak Bagans Haunted Museum is now the proud owner of Peggy the Doll, a doll that is apparently so sinister just looking at it will cause pain, suffering, and even heart attacks. Katrin Reddick believes that just looking at an image of the doll causes her to suffer from severe heart trauma. Spooky. Peggy was transported to the museum with a bag over her head, and a warning had to be displayed before any camera looked upon it. That's how dangerous and out of control she supposedly is. On one particular occasion, Zak asked for the help of a psychic to perform a seance, in hopes of making contact with the demonic spirit residing within Peggy. Of course, the seance rumbled nothing but fear in all that witnessed it, but sadly no demon made itself known. Well, there we have it. Were these items creepy enough for you? Do you want more? There are literally over 30 rooms displaying terrifying and supernatural objects at the Zak Bagans Haunted Museum, so we are certainly not short on items. Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and while you're down there, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.